All right, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another insane race brought to you by GSA here at the 70 Star League. This one is going to be Drogie versus Heisenburger, and joining me here, back from doing whatever he was doing, is Electric. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. Just took a quick little hour break that turned into an hour and a half with that unfortunate little delay earlier. But back for some more Mario action. Two fairly evenly matched players here. Both some like mid top tier 70 runners. Drogie, of course, with some nice little single star records under his belt, including like the chess star in DDD. Heisen, meanwhile, mainly a 120 runner as of late, been on that grind, improving a lot. So I think we got a pretty nice matchup here that'll fit really nicely in the schedule with all the other just really wild matches we've seen earlier today. A lot of close races today.
Yeah, I think a lot of the runners are paired up really nice as far as like skill level goes, and we've been getting a lot of good races out of it. Yeah, Drogie, yeah, like you said, an insane runner with a couple world records under his belt. But 120 is insane practice just in mechanics in Mario. And so Heisenberger, I mean, could easily pull this out if any of that 120 practice is paying off here in 70.
Oh, yeah. And there are a few differences, but many of the stars are the same in their 70 form versus their 120 form. The order in which you do them in is a little bit different, and there are a few little differences, like Wet Dry World 100, for instance. And so it looks like we have like a bit of a restart going on. I guess maybe Heisenberger like reset that run for some reason. Something was going on with this timer or something. Due to like some issue that we're having in the back with the restreaming, we will only be having one timer for this race, but like that timer will be applicable to both runners.
Yeah,
So we'll be
something I
getting
know
started again
something
in just a
happened.
moment.
Yeah, we're getting it together. VODs have been a little tricky for us today, so we appreciate everyone for sticking with us. We've been trying to have some fun with it at least when we can. So Drogie should be coming up here in just a second. Just having another little blindfolded race. This time trying to spice it up a little bit. Only half is blindfolded for us. So we'll be seeing Heisenberger.
It's like a one-eye blindfold race, like an eye patch race.
Yeah, this is the eye patch race of today. We're trying a bunch of new stuff out.
A lot of experimental formats. This is the avant-garde phase of speedrunning. We're entering a new era, folks. Experimental live speedrun race content.
Yeah, first we had the reverse blindfolded run where we're blindfolded and the runners aren't. Now we're having the eye patch run. Before we just had a normal run, and we're just trying to see which one really is best for the viewing experience. I personally really enjoyed the reverse blindfold. That was fun.
It's always a treat, you know, when you have no idea what's happening, but the race is happening in the background. But fortunately, we do have game feeds up now. Drogie, unfortunately, though, missing Lakitu skip. So gonna burn about 9 seconds actually since he ledge grabbed on the side of the bridge. You lose a little bit of extra time due to the ledge grab animation there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, only using one eye, your depth perception is a little off, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened to Drogie. He just had to take the eye patch off.
Now, Heisen losing time on his bomb clip here, so the two runners are going to be about even now going on through the next stage.
Yeah,
And
almost synced up.
Yeah, Heisen notably like not a fan of bomb clip. He's said many times that it's just inconsistent for him, and that it's understandable. It's an easy trick to mess up just a little bit without quite realizing like what exactly is happening, especially like with your jump throw, because you're wanting to hit B slightly after A. You don't want to hit them together, but like you don't want to hit them too far apart either. So like it just that roll timing, it can be a little bit hard sometimes.
Yeah, and as well, you kind of maneuver Mario a little bit in the air as well, because you don't want to land like right next to the bomb. So yeah, definitely some little nuances there. Oh,
Heisen
Heisenberger
getting a
taking a
bonk.
bonk.
Couple seconds lost there too.
Yeah,
Just couldn't
losing
seem
the
to get a great
sync.
start. Who knows? We could easily get it back in Womps, although there's not many things in Womps that lose just 2 seconds.
Yeah, maybe Drogie will like ground pound or something trying to enter the stage. But, yeah, I'm trying to think of what does actually lose you 2 seconds. Like a missed wall kick, that's about it. Everything else is like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Like I guess
A missed wall kick could easily be 10 seconds depending on where it is.
if instead of ledge grabbing on your way into cannonless, like you just land on that area of land and have to manually ledge grab.
Yeah, that's true. Taking extra time on
Oh,
texture.
Drogie failing Owless, unfortunately. Falling straight down. And yet again,
Oh my.
Mario not getting the hint. He doesn't need to grab the cage. He needs to go in the cage. There we go. Mario finally takes the hint third try.
Yep, finally got it there. Heisenburger deciding to do cannonless first. Was able to grab that. So it will take the lead here.
Some kind of sketchy movement getting up there, but he makes it work even with the fence clip. Okay, Drogie cannonless time. Texture setup coming out. Nicely done.
Yeah, very nice from Drogie. Was able to make up a couple seconds. I think Heisenburger did the full setup, right?
I'm pretty sure.
I think that's what I saw.
Now Heisen's going to be doing the standard full cycle 100 coin movement here, so his ending will be a bit longer than some of the pro cycles you saw earlier, but he will have a little bit more leeway to make just tiny movement errors. Drogie going for the pro cycle here. So Drogie can't make any like minor slip up like this. Okay, so he's not going for the slope dive there. He's going to be cutting it really close. But he any little thing that loses him like maybe 0.1 of a second could jeopardize his ability to make this cycle. But he's going to be able to make it with that nice little kick. And so he'll be saving a little bit of time over Heisen's ending here coming up.
Yeah, Drogie not able to get that wall kick, was a little too far to the right. I was still able to get the blue coin. The RNG didn't push it all the way off the edge immediately.
All right, Heisen with a nice ending there. And Drogie going to be finishing this one off in just a moment as well.
Yeah, pretty clean for both runners. They both made the cycles they were going for.
It's always nice to see.
Yeah, and that's where most of the time loss typically happens. You could have like a little slip up at the ends, like grabbing the red on top of the thwomp, but missing the cycle loses a lot of time. A lot more than you would initially think.
Yeah, because like even trying to convert to like say a half cycle movement, like you do lose a few seconds just based on having to wait for the platform to go that half turn around still. And like it just anything beyond that, you're having to lose just a ton of time waiting for the wooden platform to move all the way back around all over again. Every movement of the platform takes like a full, I think like 12 seconds, might be like closer to 10.
Yeah, I think 12's about right. But I think it's like if you have to do half cycle, it's like a 6-second loss. Or it might be 8 because I think you do end up losing a couple seconds converting.
Yeah. It's something you don't want to have to mess with in the middle of a run because like another part of that is the timing of all the movement becomes really awkward when you're having to do a backup like that. And Drogie, nice top of the fortress here. He's got one more star left. I think he hasn't done Wild Blue yet. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think that's the last one that he needs. And that's like the only star you could do like last that doesn't like add lag.
Yeah. Any star that's like towards the top of the fortress you never want to mess with. But this is the problem. Anytime you touch the ground after coming out of the tree, the owl has to come up and talk to you real quick. I think he just straight up forgot to do Wild Blue.
He probably did and realized it like as he was running up to the fortress.
If he would have been like holding left to try to do menu glitch or something like that, that actually would have avoided that problem.
That is true.
Although like menu glitch isn't really the wisest thing to try to depend on. If you're not familiar with it, it was discovered like I think a little over a year or so back at this point. If you hold left during the star select screen when you're entering a stage and select a star, when you exit that stage and it pulls up the save and continue prompt, holding down actually makes the options scroll way faster. The problem with doing that though is it's actually easier to save and quit because instead of like just tilting the stick down real fast twice in order to move down to the continue without saving option, hitting A, then like say holding forward to re-enter the painting, you're just holding down, hitting A, then holding forward again. The timing ends up being like a little harder to hit reliably. And so like it can lead to more saving quits by accident or just imprecise movement. So like a lot of people opted not to include the strat. And another factor is there are a few stars throughout the run just randomly that you can't do menu glitch on. It'll mess with like the layout of the stage, and so like you have to remember not to hold left during those specific stars.
Yeah,
So
you'll end up selecting the different star. You can hold, but you can hold right and do it as well. So you just have to know like which stars you need to hold left and which ones you need to hold right.
well, I think with right, like either it goes slower or it actually doesn't
It
work in some cases.
it goes slower. It still works, but the other thing is like you just have to pay really close attention to like what star you're on and like what you're doing, and so it just ends up being like kind of confusing.
And especially like for people that have run the game since way before the glitch was discovered, like they just didn't really bother adopting it because it ends up adding like an awkward element to the timing. Even though it can save a bit of time, you can like technically still get frame perfect continue without saves without the glitch. So, but anyway, we're in Dark World now. No worrying about saving continue options for a little bit.
Yep, Heisenburger choosing to do the poverty movement. I was able to get what is that? Is that like normal cycle?
Yeah, I believe that was a like somewhat early normal cycle. I don't think he was able to actually like hit Shogo with it.
No, not quite. I didn't quite see what he messed up, but he was a little behind. Because normally you have at least an option with the poverty movement to get Shig.
Yeah. Drogie pulling out that nice side flip wall kick. That side flip wall kick is actually faster than the double wall kicks unless you get double firsties. Heisen a little too far left. Bowser like just barely flicked into the bomb from that little tiny throw.
Yeah, it was like a pixel away.
Drogie getting a really nice throw. One thing that like you sometimes forget to think about with Bowser throws is you actually don't want to like throw them as hard as you can, because the more speed he has going into the bomb, like he'll have a tendency to like fly way further up in the air. So like what you want to do for an optimal throw there is have him bounce on the ground once, and as he's like coming up from that first bounce, have him hit the bomb at like a fairly low speed. Or like even have him do like a second bounce and then like immediately hit the bomb right after that bounce. It's a minor difference. I don't even think it's quite a second, but like it's something that you have to think about when you're trying to run the game at a really high level.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I think a lot of runners just do like a really fast throw there, because it's hard enough to get like the speed that you need. So if you do get enough speed, you're not going to have more to make like the Bowser animation last longer.
Right.
That's one of the reasons like I kind of adopted the fast spins
two spinners
on the
thing.
first Bowser. Yeah.
Yeah. But what ends up happening is like when you play the game enough, you start getting better at spinning, and like you spin faster just as your basic spin. And so like you start throwing him further than you realize, and you're like, okay, wait, I need to adjust again.
Yeah. Like yeah, I don't do fast spins on the other two, just the first one because of that reason.
Mm.
Because you can get just enough speed to do it optimally. At least I can. Sure, others
Nice
can do
wall
it
kicks
faster.
from Drogie. Well, and Heisen trying to go for the pro moonwalk, but ends up just messing up a little bit there.
Yeah, Heisen showing us that he is going to be doing CCM 18. Not really many 17s today. A little less than we have in the past.
I mean, maybe people just aren't feeling quite as confident and plus as normal. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe just the decision that it doesn't save enough time to justify it.
Yeah. Drogie with a
In
nice
race
moonwalk.
at least.
I mean, it did work for Do Whatever earlier. I think he was able to get double plus just fine.
Yeah, did Cheese do double plus in that race? I didn't see.
No, he did single plus, but he grabbed the shiny top star by accident during one.
Oh,
So he ended up
no.
having to do a second plus anyway, even though his first one was pretty much perfect. It's unfortunate that like making that mistake actually loses time. Like I wish that doing plus for shiny top was actually like halfway an option. Like it was a comparable speed or something, you know.
Yeah, you'd think it would be, but it loses like 5 seconds. It loses a lot of time.
Yeah.
I think,
So,
but it's all like grabbing the bomb. That's why it's time.
right.
Yeah. But
So
Heisenburger already racing the Penguin. Drogie trying to get there. But Drogie is a star ahead. I don't know what star Heisen hasn't grabbed.
it's the little penguin lost star.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure anyway. I believe he typically saves that for last. And he's missed a decent number of coins, but he must have grabbed the safety red because he's still in decent shape. He's got his requisite 85 now. Drogie, no safety coin. Really confident in his sliding abilities with Mario.
Yeah, he's looking good so far. Penguin messing with him just a little bit.
There's like this alternate route where you actually collect the blue coins from the blue coin switch, and you can skip just a small portion of the slide. But what's really nice about that strat is when you skip that portion of the slide, you get so far ahead of the penguin, he can't really catch up and mess with you anymore.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
he can push you out of the way of 2 coins. That's why I doubt I'll ever skip over the safety red. Is like sometimes the penguin will just decide you're not getting this pair of coins today.
Yeah, the rubber banding is very weird.
Yeah.
It's not very consistent. Or perhaps it is, and I mean, just the slightest difference can make a huge difference. But yeah, I know not a lot of runners, but like a few of them have definitely adopted the that slide skip, and it does save a second as well. Because the penguin will just speed up tremendously because you're so far ahead of them.
Yeah, I believe the big issue like that kind of makes him stay close to you is the rubber banding works both ways. He'll slow down if he's ahead of you. So like when
Right.
he gets, especially around certain bends, when he gets close enough to you, like the game kind of holds his speed towards yours.
Yeah, that could even make it worse because if he comes up right next to you, he'll just stay next to you, and
Yeah.
so you just can't get around him. The most annoying penguin in the game.
I guess it's designed to make the race feel close or something. I don't know, but it's aggravating. Drogie pulling out that Mario C down cam that actually gives you a decent roof camera.
Yeah, I've been seeing some different cameras here in BBH. Like, because you got some runners who will do like the Mario C down cam, some runners who will just do the Lakitu scam inside the building, the castle, whatever it is.
Yeah. Whatever you want on the roof, you have to decide before you even enter the mansion. You can't go into Mario Cam C down once you enter the door.
Right. You can
It's
go back into Lakitu, but you just can't go back into Mario.
right. It's such a like just strange design choice. I honestly don't think it was like fully intentional. I think they just probably left in the Mario Cam C down thing, like not realizing that they hadn't locked that one down like all the others. I don't know.
Yeah, a bit strange, but both runners leaving at basically the same time. It's almost synced up. Like a second and a half apart.
And we'll see if it stays that way through Pillarless. This is like the first great equalizer in this run. A huge opportunity for things to get shaken up. So we've got a Mips grab on both sides. Looked like Drogie actually went for the punch while Heisen went for the dive. It's a little faster to do the punch since you don't have to wait for Mario to get up afterwards. But of course, it's more risky since, like, as long as Mario is sliding, he can still catch Mips, but the punch is just a one-done type thing. So let's see those re-grabs. We got a standard plus coming out from Drogie. The re-grab coming out just fine. Same with Heisen. No messing around with Tama today. And Drogie's in there and Heisen as well. All right. Plus going well for both runners, keeping the lead about consistent.
Yeah, that was basically like you could copy paste either one of those on both screens and they would look exactly the same. Like they were like identical pillarlesses.
Yeah, I think Heisen's like pyramid movement was slightly cleaner, but like it was nothing really to write home about. And some quick fly guy kills real quick.
Yeah. It's so fun to see like races this close.
Oh yeah, especially after a star like this, like the rest of basement just becomes so tense. An interesting little note about that Talon Star and like the technique you have to use on it. If you hold neutral when you hit the fly guy, the game gives Mario the same horizontal speed he had all the way through, like until you press the stick again during that like spinning flight animation. So like you want to make sure that your angle and everything is set good to hit the fly guy as soon as you long jump off of the pillar. And then like just have neutral held and like ride that higher speed as long as you can. And I think it has like an extra 5 or so units of speed over when you start like pressing the stick in some direction. So like that's one way you actually save some time on that Talon Star with proper technique.
Yeah, very interesting how that works. And that can come into play in a couple of other spots as well. I don't think here in 70, but like in other categories.
Yeah, I believe like when spin drifts start getting involved, like when you're
Yeah.
doing SL 100.
The T-posing spinning Mario.
One of the like few design choices I really wish were in this game is like how you can do like a drill ground pound in like Odyssey. I wish you could do that in Mario 64 because you just have to kind of ride out the spinning, and it's so annoying sometimes.
Yeah, that's very true. But that's just how this game works. If you accidentally jump on a spin drift or something, you're on for the ride. You can't get out.
Buckle in, kids. All right, both players bully time.
When it's like this, I always hope both runners like pick the same star.
It's nice to see that like absolute sync, yeah, or the like kind of call and responsive gameplay.
Yeah, you see exactly like how the small mistakes really add up and make the lead much bigger and smaller. Because if you're not used to speedrunning, you're like 2 seconds, like what's the big deal? But then like you'll see it in a race like this, and you're like, wow, that's a huge gap.
Yeah. All right. You see the ledge grabs coming out here. Even though these players are fully capable of the ledge grab skip, as they demonstrated on Big Bully, the way that the triple bullies move around, it's actually harder to get the triple bully kill with the ledge grab skip. Oh, Heisen, a little bit too low for the star. And now 2 stars left. Kind of interesting how both runners saved these 2 for last. The 2 volcano stars. I'm thinking we're just going to see 2 long jump boosts. I don't expect any kind of pro boost shenanigans.
Yeah, almost every runner decides to do long jump boost. I think like D Whatever and Punkation. I think they're the ones who will typically do different ones that will be faster, but almost everyone does long jump boost.
It's just like long jump boost is so outrageously consistent. Like it only involves stick positions, not like when you're moving to those. So like with pro boost, part of the difficulty is you have to smoothly glide between like up notch to upright notch to right hand notch. And like if you just try to snap to those positions, it won't work. But long jump boost is all about just snapping. Like you snap to like down right and then up at one point, and then like you're done pretty much. Like it's just you learn the timing for when to move the stick to these positions, and it's just very, very fast, fluid movement. And like once you figure out the intricacies of it, like one thing that's weird about it is you actually want to have like a slightly unoptimal start. Like if you kick on the very first frame and then long jump on the first frame after that, you'll actually like have a very hard time adjusting to the correct long jump position on like the later island. But if you purposely like wait a couple frames to kick and then like wait a little bit to long jump after you land on the ground again, it's actually a lot easier to set up your position. So just figuring out little things like that, like it just becomes outrageously consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. And in races, I mean, that's exactly what you want. A half a second time loss, for something that's almost 100% consistent versus missing it and having like 30 seconds lost.
Yeah,
Probably
like
not
it's a
that much, but,
no-brainer.
like, yeah, you know what I mean.
And like for perspective, I'm fairly consistent at long jump boost. Like you can extrapolate that to figure out how consistent these guys are at it. Like it just it's the no fail strat. It's free for them at this point.
Yeah, very nice chest starts from both.
Yeah, like we were kind of talking about earlier, this is another one that's super easy to lose time to, but pretty comparable on both sides. Maybe Heisen a little less optimal.
Yeah, swimming is definitely something very similar to flying, but swimming is a little bit more mechanical. You have to time your A presses, and it's if you mistime it, you lose like a half a second to a second, just from Mario like slowing down and then having to pick the speed back up.
Right.
So it's very important that the runners are timing everything basically perfectly while moving the camera around, while making Mario take the right lines. And so swimming's a lot tougher than most runners make it seem. If you watch me, you'd be like, wow, that's really hard.
And it's never really clearer than like on this Manta Ray Star. The way that you actually approach the first ring is very vitally important. Like you're having to hold upright to make Mario descend in the water for just the right amount of time, then kind of level out, and then like start holding like up left. Like it flows together when you do it right, but it's also very easy when you haven't practiced it enough to just have it flow wrong.
Yeah, especially with how Mario moves, it's not like fluid. Like it's basically like turning a boat. It's very slow, and you have to like move the stick before you actually want Mario to turn.
Yeah, very, very momentum based. And so now Fire Sea coming out. We'll see what cycles they're able to hit here.
Alright, Drogie able to avoid some Goomba bounces. Drogie is looking good for him, but falls down, turns a little too sharply. Alright, so Drogie gonna have to just sit here and wait for the cycle to happen. You can definitely see just how far, or how much time is lost, and how far ahead Heisenburger can really get here. Alright, Drogie was able to get a nice ending there. Not having any more mishaps. So Heisenburger just needs to kind of close this out, which he will do with a really nice Bowser throw. So Fire Sea probably like the easiest Bowser throw, just because he's so close to that bomb. But missing it is the most punishing, since you have to see the whole animation again. But very rare when a runner actually does miss a throw. We saw one earlier. Alright, so both runners making their way up to Wet Dry World. Still an insanely close match. It's been so close basically the entire time. It's really like you're watching one runner do a star, and then you look at the other screen to see if he does it as well. That's basically how this race has been. And Heisenberger misses the triple jump wall kick.
That's like why I'm really scared to even try to adopt this strat. Is that mistake is so costly. And like the movement alternate without that triple jump is still fairly quick, like once you like learn it and optimize it.
Yeah, a lot of runners will just choose to do that in general.
It's a little bit more awkward, I would say, for like express elevators, since like you're only trying to go up to like head back down anyway. But top of the town, like also doing that triple jump does set you up really nicely for the ending triple as well.
Yeah, I know that the triple jump wall kick saves a lot more time on the express elevator. Top of the town, I only think it saved like 1 or 2 seconds. Like it's not much at all.
And if you were watching last race or the race before, and you remember me talking about the like how you can kind of turn a double jump angle a little bit in like Rainbow Ride.
No.
Oh boy, Drogie long jumping under the wood plank. He's just gonna come back up this way. Smart move. Like it's hard to back up getting to the ending stone platform aside from just like coming back up and doing it this way. But I was gonna say the triple jumps onto like the wooden platform in this stage also use that like delayed double jump mechanic to change the angle a little bit. It's not as dramatic at all here though, because like you're not doing it on a rotating platform.
Yeah, but Heisenburger, it's having a pretty good 100 coin here. Yeah, Drogie not doing the wall kicks like we were just talking about. Just playing it safe is probably going to work out in his favor in this run since Heisen's already missed one and fell all the way down. Alright, so nice 100 coin for Heisen.
Really
Little sad
slow.
that Drogie fell down below that plank. Long jump was just a little off.
And it's unfortunate, like that's why I'd always stick with like the jump dive movement, because it just I feel like it just doesn't lend itself to those sorts of issues. The long jump barely has enough height, but with a jump dive you have more than enough height by far and doesn't lose that much time.
Yeah, the long jump is very sketchy. And that's exactly why, like Drogie just showed us.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more time it actually saves though. Like I know it's a decent amount just because of how fast you accelerate, but I don't
A
know
little
if
fun
it's
fact.
not quite worth the risk.
Oh yeah, we were talking about top of the town with like the alternate strat. There's that like really nice triple jump that Drogie just set up. An interesting little thing though is shocking arrowless, the star that like Heisen finished up with, is one of a few stars that the single star record with that strat that you see in an RTA run is like the same as the TAS, because it's such a short star and it doesn't really use any like complex mechanics where you need like a perfect speed kick or something like that. Like if you grind it enough times, you're actually able to get like a frame perfect replication of the TAS of that strat. Of course, there are also very, very crazy strats for that same star that go faster that are TAS only, but for that strat at least, you are capable of getting a TAS time, and that world record cannot go any lower for that strat.
Yeah, I know there's definitely a strat if you enter in the painting with like the medium level water, you like long jump onto like the spider or the skeeter is what it's called. And then you hit the switch to make the water rise, and then you jump on one of like the wooden platforms and then do some wall kicks. I mean, it's an insane strat.
Yeah. I've seen like Benny was messing around with this like weird, I guess kind of like a hybrid of like the TAS strat that you're talking about, where he was like long jumping onto the fence at the start and then like having the water level go even higher. And I think it only involved like 2 wall kicks in the end or something. It was like RTA possible, but not exactly.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's not something you could get like consistent, but it's crazy when you pull it off.
Yeah, I think
wild.
Cheese actually pulled it off in a race once because he accidentally entered in at the wrong level.
Oh,
And he knew how to do it, so he like went for it and was actually like able to get it. I mean, maybe no, I don't think it was a race, but I think it was just like in a PB attempt. But it was totally accidental, but was just able to get it. It was pretty insane.
Those types of moments where you have to back up, like going with a wrong camera angle, like they can be the best of moments. They can be the worst, but like when you're able to pull off some insane backup strat like that, it's worth it. One that I'll never forget is like in the Division 2 Season 1 finals, Proto Man did island hop in one of the races. And when I asked him about it in the interview after, he said it was just because his camera was wrong. He just set the camera that way and was just like, all right, whatever. Let's just go for island hop.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah. Like it was when stuff works like that, it's just so nice. It's the most blurted of moments.
Yeah, and then also just the commitment of like the runners who know like, well, I'm already doing it. Just get it done.
All right, Drogie missing one of his wall kicks on the log there. Just gonna take this back up with the box here. As long as like you have the camera set up correctly in that area, you do have to like manipulate the cam down there to make sure it's set right, but you can just hold straight up afterwards and then like do a slightly weird stick movement and the box will work just fine. It's a
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
handy backup to have for when that happens exactly to Drogie.
yeah. The camera works out like really perfectly in that situation.
That's one thing that like I wish could be an element of modern platforming design is having a camera that works off buttons like Mario 64. Because it lends itself like with the very strict angles the camera can have, you can do such amazing precise strats that just aren't really as possible in other like platforming games that have like a more free camera with a stick.
Yeah, it's pretty sad that like we're just never gonna see it again. This is like the only game.
I think like Banjo-Kazooie, I believe the C buttons do camera work too. So I'm sure there's like some comparable stuff there. I've never delved deep into the tech of that game, but I feel like I need to. This is probably the only thing that really comes close to this.
Yeah, I've never done that game either. I have no idea. Ooh, Drogie falling down from the red coin maze. It's having trouble wall kicking off of this weird little geometry there.
Very weird side flip there. I think that was supposed to be a front flip towards the red, but it didn't quite hold the position long enough. Front flips are weird in this game. So when you go to activate a side flip, like when you're running forward, pull the stick back, and Mario starts to like turn around. After a few frames have passed of him starting to turn around, you can actually push the stick in any direction you want, even straight forward again. Then press A, and Mario will side flip in whatever direction you're holding. But the important part is you have to be holding like away from where you were running for a little bit before you try to hold in another direction. When you do like a weird side flip like that, it's called a front flip, since like you can actually side flip to the front. And you see that tech in a lot of different places when you just want to have a lot of airtime redirected in a very specific way. It's a very good backup tool in a lot of cases because you get the height of a side flip, but any direction you want.
Yeah,
That's one
absolutely.
instance of it going wrong when you're trying to do it optimally because there's no real visual cue. Like, oh, Drogie just not quite getting close enough for Breezes, looks like. I guess you could like try to visually memorize like a part of the side flip animation that you know will be good, but like it all happens so quickly. I think most people would do it off of muscle memory timing, and when it fails like that, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, definitely just one of those feel strats. You can do a front flip in Dark World, after like you hit like Shick Cycle or whatever. If you hit it late and you have to do like another long jump versus a normal jump, you can like land on the platform and like do a quick front flip to like wall kick up to the second to last red coin. So
Right.
that's one example of like when it would just be faster to do a front flip.
Or like certain movements going up to Owlus, like whenever you're trying to set up for that wall kick to get up onto the green platform that you actually do the triple jump off of. Like some people will just do that with a front flip, like especially if they mess up the double jump movement leading up there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And like another nuanced tech that takes a while to practice is like everywhere in Snowman's Land, the speed kick. When you have too much speed for Mario to normally kick, like the B button will normally dive you if you have enough speed, but if you're running forward and release the stick while you're on the ground and then hit B, you'll always end up kicking. To be very precise with it, I think you only have to hold like down below, I think it's like unit 50 or something on the stick, but like the easiest way of doing it is just going neutral on the stick. But the timing has to be pretty tight. The longer that you're neutral without kicking, the more speed that you lose and the less effective it is. If you try to neutral out like while you're still in midair, when Mario hits the ground, he'll just have no speed. And if you fail to neutral out before you try to kick, you'll just dive like normal. And so that's a tech that like I had to just sit down with a save state that was like a second before I needed to do a speed kick and just practice speed kicking and practice the timing for like a good 15 minutes. And then like I finally started to understand it. And like I'm still inconsistent at it. I'll still miss like 1 out of every 10.
Yeah, it's very tight timing. Yeah, very, very tricky to do at times. And then sometimes like the dive really messes you up. Sometimes it's still okay.
Yeah, in some of the like setups in Snowman's Land, it doesn't make that big a difference. You just have to like do some kind of readjustment. But like you said, some cases, especially if you're trying to use a speed kick to cross a gap, like there are a few places like TTM Reds, some pro strats will do that, and Bits, there's like some movement towards like the midsection that you can use a speed kick to cross a gap. That turning into a dive is devastating.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as we were talking, both runners completing Snowman's Land. Not the hardest stage to talk of. Not much going on there. Just kind of running straight at some stars. But here in Hazy Maze Cave, Heisenburger's got a decent lead after a couple stages in the upstairs. I think it was mostly like TTM.
Yeah, Drogie with like that wall kick on the log mistake. That definitely cost him some time. And I think Heisen already had like a bit of a natural lead already.
I think so as well.
A nice box triple from Drogie here. Heisen having an issue with the Christmas Miracle triple.
Yeah, very strange. It looked like he just didn't have quite enough speed.
Yeah, that triple can actually be kind of finicky. Like you have to just grind out a setup for how you're gonna move the stick that works for you. One potential problem you can have is like if you set it up a little bit too far forward, you can have Mario run over the elevator as he's trying to like start his triple jump. And depending on how he runs over the corner of the elevator, it can like cancel out your triple jump and turn it into a double jump instead. And like that just completely kills everything. You have to like go ahead and do a side flip back up, and like that's just one of many ways that it can go wrong. If you try to kick too soon when you enter the room, Mario will actually like very likely have a non-wall kickable angle. I'm pretty sure that's what Drogie thought happened there, and so that was why he kind of like aborted that attempt seemingly for no reason. That's like another thing, like with nuanced timing. If you have Mario do an action right outside of a doorway, there's like a chance if you have it on like the first couple frames as he's starting to move, that like the angle is different than what you're intending for the angle to end up being. So Drogie having to take like a really quick backup here with the elevator clip.
Yeah, really sad for Drogie. He was trying so hard to get that side flip. I think he just needed to slow it down a bit, but able to do like the elevator clip or whatever you would call that, and just go ahead and get down there.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're in the middle of a star and things just aren't going right, it's just
Take an alternate
you gotta
strat.
cut your losses. Yeah.
The synced star select animation, but could not be in two different stages. One player in the sky, one player in the mine. Heisen fails last Lakitu bounce first try. Slides off the wooden plank. I think he just probably pressed A little too early. He was deep enough that he probably had at least a couple frames to jump, but it would have been tight, and I think he just timed it a little bit too optimistically.
Yeah, the Lakitu was a little further out from the plank than you wanted to, and yeah, it was a pretty shallow landing.
Right now, Drogie is going to be joining Heisen in the Rainbow Ride fun.
Yeah, but the Heisenburger already having reds out of the way. I think that's like the longest star here in Rainbow Ride. Like Lakitu bounce is a pretty similar time, but definitely having a full reds and then some ahead is a pretty nice lead for Heisenburger.
Oh, yeah. Like, this is a pretty decent Tippy position. Tippy can definitely still change this lead by a lot, but this position Heisen's forged for himself is not something to be too afraid of. I'm trying to pick the right words to not curse him, even though this is a pre-recorded race.
Yeah, basically, like, if he just doesn't make any major mistakes, he's in good shape. Like, he doesn't need to have to pull out any, like, stupidly fast strats. But he tried to anyway, and takes a death.
You're trying to do left side tricky triangles, and that first wall kick just not quite working for him.
That's such a hard wall kick, because you have to basically do it blind. You just have to have the timing down. Going for it again.
He does get it this time at least.
Yeah, and it's a pretty quick death. Like, even though he died, like that's not a major mistake, I would say.
And he takes a bonk, but he backs it up really nicely. As Drogie finishes out Reds. Had a little issue with the kick, but not much time lost there. Commentator's curse does not respect the linear flow of time. I believe it.
Based on experience, yeah, that is true.
Absolutely true.
It's happened multiple times this race alone. You say something and then it just 5 minutes of like perfect gameplay is just ruined.
Yep.
And commentators a necessary evil when it comes to these races.
All right now, Drogie, nice execution on tricky triangles. That's the strat Heisen wanted to get. And so Drogie with just one more quick star, but Heisen starting on with the clock. TGC 100 is going to be a big play here. This could open the lead a lot for Drogie, or it could just further solidify it for Heisen.
Yeah, easily the easiest star to lose time on. That was a... Words are hard, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Despite how many times I said easy, this star is anything but that. All right, Drogie getting Toad early.
Kind of an interesting choice, but
some good debate around Toad early or late.
I think the pretty well consensus from Taviskoth's timings have been that Toad early does technically save time, but very likely you are like losing time on doing it that way.
Yeah, it's one of those like RTA possible but not probable situations.
Because like the big appeal is whenever you do Toad late, you get to use your Rainbow Ride exit for one of your time stop entrances. And so like the debate kind of becomes then like, okay, well, if you grab Toad early, what cycle of the clock are you going to end up being at? You have to end up hitting the early cycle of the clock, or you have to hit the fast cycle of the clock very early in order for it to like really be worthwhile for you to have gone for Toad early. And there's of course the chance that you try to talk to Toad, you punch him instead, and you end up getting to the clock a lot later.
Yeah, opening yourself up to like more risk and tippy is a lot of times just enough to make runners be like, yeah, it's not really worth it.
Just grab it late, like just go to TTC. Get yourself that nice time stop entrance. Don't deal with the time moving star first. Just get TTC 100 out of the way.
But Heisenburger having a really nice TikTok clock. Was able to finish out his 100 coin without any issues. So Drogie needs to do the same if he wants to have any kind of chance in this race, because time is almost out.
Yeah, he's almost there. Just got one more jump left, and he's good to go pretty much.
Yeah, didn't Heisenburger get Inviswalled there?
I believe so. I'm not actually sure.
I think he did. So I think Drogie gained a little bit of time in that ending.
Drogie with the deal with ever back
gosh.
flip. Okay.
A strat that I think has only been seen like successfully like one time ever by D Whatever until now.
That was just an in the moment backup, and I'm certain Drogie only thought to do that because he saw D Whatever do it. In my most recent PB, I fell off the island during THI Piranhas. And because I had seen D Whatever do it once in a race before, I knew that the only thing to back it up that mistake with is just exit course and go back into the stage from like the lobby. And so like Drogie and I both are thanks to D Whatever for showing us how to back something up.
Yeah, just dipping from the infinite well of knowledge that is D Whatever.
Just the 70 legend. All right.
A little spicy reds, but holds on to it.
Now time jumps on immobile bars coming out from Drogie right now.
Immobile bars.
What if it was actually a different star just from being on time stop? Well, like, what if the developers took enough care to say, okay, you didn't get it the way that we said you did. It's actually a different star that you grabbed. And that'd be something.
8th star.
Or just throughout the game, like Whirl from the Freezing Pond, if you don't touch the water, it's a different
Drogie!
star. What? Oh, man. And then the death right after. Oh, that's so unfortunate.
He saved it. He jumped onto like that middle like spike and was able to like not fall off somehow. And then tried to get like a fast dive ending and just fell.
That he was so close. Like Mario had the star.
Oh my gosh.
Taking the burn there, trying to get the triple. And then not getting the long jump there.
Drogie's tilted and very frustrated.
How can he, like, you can't blame him. Like, this is the last star he's got. It's 9 seconds of movement. He's having to do it a way that I'm sure he hasn't practiced a whole lot, aside from like on his time jumps on moving bars practice.
Oh my!
Wow.
Just go to the right side. Stop going near the flame spitter.
Okay, he's getting up there again. Oh, and I didn't even realize he waited for time to stop just so it'd be easier to deal with all this. But
When you take a death, time stopped is already. That's
it's free. That's right. Yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, Heisenburger already in the final Bowser fight.
And he missed one of his throws. I think he's already hit one at least, though. And that's another miss. It's getting a tad iffy on Heisen's side. Oh wait, no, was that not a miss or something? What?
No, it was a hit. So that's the second miss right there. He hit the second throw.
Okay, that's it looks so far wide. I'm surprised that hit. Okay. Well,
yeah, it was barely, and its camera angle made it a little hard to see.
Well, Heisen 3-throw fight. We'll imagine. Is Drogie trying to get up in bits now? Moving left side from Drogie and falls down, unable to get his wall kick out.
Yeah, Drogie just playing for points here. We're at the very end of the season. Points could matter. Could be the difference between getting into the final tournament or not.
And another fall. Oh man.
Yeah.
Drogie just not having a good day.
Okay, I was wondering. I was like, is he gonna finish? He should finish. He's not that far behind. He needs to just like calm down and finish it out. Going for the speed kick there. It's a little too far forward.
Just like rolling out way too far.
There you go. Yeah, he's in a fine spot. Like he just needs to calm down.
He can still extract a healthy number of points from this situation.
There we go. Moving left side.
He's on the final elevator, approaching that final fight.
Yeah, no idea what time he's at. I would imagine like a minute and a half behind. So like probably like 52 minutes. Probably somewhere around there.
Oh, dives right past Bowser's tail. He was trying to wait for, I guess, for Bowser to stop to do an attack. But that ended up not really working the way he wanted it to. Okay, it looked like a glitchy grab there. And the flame getting Mario, forcing Drogie to throw without meaning to. That's going to be it.
Oh, that's it.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, Drogie taking the FF. But the ending was just the last star was just not kind to Drogie at all.
Yeah, the tilt is super understandable with everything that just happened to him. Like I don't blame him one bit for any of that. That was just super unfortunate.
Yeah, sometimes that happens though. It's the name of the game. But GG's to Heisenburger with a 50-20 something, 50-26, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, this
So
sounds right.
yes, really good race from him. Unfortunate from Drogie, but he had a super good race. They were like synced up for most of the time, so it was fun to watch. Just unfortunate ending.
Yeah, just like laid upstairs and especially Tippy just was not playing nice with Drogie, unfortunately.
Yep. But
But
with that, we're gonna have to throw it over to the intermission. Next race will be Wilco versus Puncation. So that will be a really nice match. So make sure to stay tuned.
yep, super excited to calm that one for y'all. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in a few minutes.